Today's lesson is part 3 of a 4-part series we are doing on how to buy, fix, and flip or hold websites for wealth creation and or long-term cash flow. Because who don't like those things, right? Hey, what's going on, my fellow future millionaires? Justin Williams here. As mentioned, this is part 3 of a 4-part series we are doing on buying, fixing, flipping, and or holding websites. We are on with the one and only Matt Raad, who's super rad. If you have not yet listened to parts 1 and 2, go back to the last 2 episodes, listen to those first, and then come back. Other than that, let's get it on. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you again, for the 3rd time, the one and only Mr. Matt Raad. You're getting me all excited, because that's how business is. It's like you get going, you kind of have a vision, you have a goal, you kind of know where you're going, and then you mentioned the testing, right? I call it HTP, hypothesis, test, pivot. And you keep adjusting based on the data, based on the information that you get back. If it's working, you do more of it. If it doesn't working, you do less. But then you start to get to this point where it's like, okay, if you have a course or you have a thing, then you can buy websites based on the asset that you have that they don't have, or you can create that. So many different ways to go about it, right?
Monetizing websites, just keep it simple first. It's really exciting to think about the courses and how much money you can make. There's lots of success stories around about that. But honestly, just learn. If you're new to this, just make sure you learn on a really simple little content site first that basically, so you're kind of confident with this idea of how the numbers work and convert to money in your bank account. So AdSense or affiliate offers are easy. And actually being an affiliate for Amazon is probably the easiest way to make money online as a beginner. So that's probably one of the biggest things we recommend people start. So that's how Annette with the caravan site, that's how she made that $1,000 a month pretty quickly from a site that she built from scratch, because she just signed up. It's free. You become an affiliate for Amazon. So instead of, you don't have to stock a warehouse full of 4-wheel drive equipment. You just be affiliate. Amazon make it so easy. They give you an affiliate link. Anything that anyone buys when they're on Amazon for 24 hours, they're cookied and you get a commission, normally 4 to 5%. Now, sometimes you can be making more money than the retailer, the guy that is stocking the warehouse, because you have zero risk. You think about it. You don't have to ship the product. You don't have to deal with the customer. Don't have to deal with returns. All you do is send traffic over to Amazon and you make money. You can do that with very small traffic websites.
Is it possible to have Amazon on your website and your own course, or do you just want to focus on one?
We do that all the time. And you can have that. That's what I was saying before. You can test AdSense next to Amazon affiliate links, not a problem. We had an example of one of our students. Her first site was a trampoline site. It's called trampolizing.com. Really cool. She just bought it for, I think it was $600 or something like that. But just a learner site. So she just reviewed trampolines, and she paid a writer to write those reviews. She had a top 5 trampolines that she would recommend, and it just sent people over to Amazon. And if they bought one of those trampolines, our trampoline's like $100, she might get 5%, maybe 10%, depends what the affiliate commissions are. But of course, if people buy much bigger products, you're making a lot more money. So it works really well when you've got products that you can recommend that are in the $500 to $1,000 range. So for instance, a really good niche is the exercise equipment niche, because typically exercise equipment is $1,000 plus for running machines and things like that. And you learn with Amazon, but then what happens is when you get good on Amazon, you go direct to the manufacturers and see if they've got an affiliate program. And that's, by the way, one of the other things why I'm always clicking in the advertising bit in the footer to see, are they using an affiliate program? Well, that's why I always backtrack the bigger sites. Like if they're reviewing exercise equipment, where are they sending people? Are they sending them to Amazon, or are they sending them direct to the manufacturer? If they send them direct to the manufacturer, I know straight away they've got an affiliate payout program that's probably anywhere from 10% to 15%, maybe 20%. So I can quadruple or triple what the original owner was making. You imagine you combine that with your skill to be able to drive more traffic to the website. That's why things can go exponential when you learn how this works. So the old owner's just sending people over to Amazon and getting 5%. If I can get a direct affiliate offer because I've now got more traffic, you've got to jump a few hoops to get the really good affiliate offers. But we've had sites where we've been paid out 40 to 50% affiliate commissions when most people are earning 5%. It's funny, here we are talking about online virtual world and people think you just set up these anonymous affiliate links. You know what really works the most, Justin? It's like me and you here chatting. people who get on with each other, people that like each other. Liz and I, we just got on really well with this particular affiliate manager. He really liked, he's an American guy and he loved us. And we just chatted about, and then he would give us insights. He could see we were, working really hard to do really well with these websites. And he gave us a few tips. And then we'd say, well, is that the maximum affiliate payout you can offer? And then once we proved ourselves and he trusted us and we trusted him, and we also proved ourselves by getting this site ranking really highly, they put our affiliate commissions up to 40%. And he said, there's only one other company on the planet, Matt, that gets that, so don't ask for more. And he said, it's a very well-known publicly listed company. And he said, you know exactly who it is. And I said, wow, you're kidding me? We're on the same rate as them. I said, thank you. It was just because we chatted to him over a year or two and we got on really well. But he could see we're good at it. But the point is, that's how things can go really big, because most people just blanket think, I'll be an Amazon affiliate and get 5%. We're getting 40%. Gosh, that has a massive impact on your net profit each month.
Well, also depending on the thing you're selling. I mean, if you're selling an information or an educational product, I think you and I both know lots of affiliates who will pay anywhere from 25 to up to 50% of their product, right?
On information products, yeah.
The margins are infinite, right?
That's right. So normally we're promoting physical products or services. We sell lots of leads. So leads in America are worth a lot of money. So you know how I said there's ad networks? There's actually affiliate networks. There's CJ.com, but there's also other really good ones in America. Like there's some spammy stuff in there, but there's a place called OfferVault. And I just love looking through there. It will list every single affiliate offer in America, or like in all these different niches, like insurance leads, credit card leads, CBD oil's really big these days. We don't get into certain niches that we're not comfortable with. We don't do gambling or anything like that. And I don't think that particular network shows those, but there's affiliate commissions for everything you can think of. And particularly for American listeners, you guys are laughing, just watch your late night TV. When your kids can't sleep. I remember one of our friends, his baby couldn't sleep and he's in America. He said, Matt, it's awesome. He's like me. He goes, Matt, I just sit there watching late night TV with my little baby at 3:00 in the morning. I see all the ads come up advertising, the new eye creams and supplements. And he goes, I just go and build a website around that because I know they're putting millions of dollars into those late night ads and I make money. And that's how he literally got his best ideas off late night American TV. So we can't do that here in Australia. We can't watch your late night TV and see the real ads. So what you do is you find that anything that's being advertised on TV, they've got a big budget. So then you just quickly go into places like OfferVault and you see if they've got a matching offer with the same product. And then you either buy a website or set up a website that has traffic in that niche. So skincare is a huge affiliate niche. It's massive. Or supplements is massive. You can make a lot of money in those niches with really good affiliate offers. They pay out 20%, things like that. But coming back to you, information products, next level. That's 50%.
And then the next level is you create your own course. But then, of course, you have, not no pun intended, but you have to create your own course and then you're managing the product. So it just depends what kind of business you want to be in, where you want to focus. Like for us, someone with Millionaire University, our first goal, and these all kind of bleeds together, these concepts, right? You mentioned eyeballs or ear lobes, I guess you call it, like in this instance, right? The first goal is to build up a platform. We get a bunch of people listening to our show. We advertise through the CPM model, and then over time have people paying potentially more. But then over time, it's like once we're bringing in like a bunch of revenue, our number one goal is to maintain lifestyle freedom. Do what we want, when we want. In the past, when we first started, it's different. You got the kids you got to feed, you got bills you got to pay. I was out knocking doors every day in the heat of Bakersfield, California, 110 degrees. It did not matter. I had to figure out how to pay the bills. Maslow's hierarchy of needs, had to eat, right? But now we're to this point where it's like, we're kind of comfortable, right? Like I don't want to start a business that is going to make me work the 5 to 9, like you mentioned, but I like doing stuff. I love interviewing cool people like you. And it's like, let's build up our audience. Let's allow advertisers and people to pay for some of this traffic we have. We don't want to create our own course and programs yet, but over time we want to do that. We invested a bunch of our own money at the beginning to build the platform. Now people are willing to pay to be on the platform. And then over time, eventually, once we have enough income coming in to hire the infrastructure and create the infrastructure for people to manage the program, so that I used to be on with my programs. I was like 24/7, like, gotta answer all the questions. It's like, we don't want to do that this time around.
And what you're doing, Justin, is actually, if you've got the luxury of building this over time, it's like insurance for your family's future and for whatever goal you may have down the track too. But you're building insurance. You think about it. You're building an asset now outside people, and we go, oh, you should be monetizing it. No. You're building an asset at your pace for the future, for your family. And as it grows, like you said, you step in one layer of monetization. Obviously, the ultimate is if you can put a course that people pay for the knowledge, that's the ultimate way down the track. And that's what we love to teach to people. That's why this vehicle, buying online business, is such an awesome way to transition from full-time employment. Because see, in my old days when I used to buy and sell bricks and mortar businesses, and then we did it as a broker and we were involved in mergers and acquisitions, we'd help ultra high achievers, very high income earners get out of their corporate stressful roles. They'd have to spend millions of dollars to replace their incomes because they're trying to do it straight away. I remember always thinking, gee, these guys should be doing what Liz is doing, just building these websites in the background while she's raising the kids, building them up, low risk. You're building an asset and you can transition. And so now this is what we've turned our company eBusiness into. We cater for those people that are happy to transition into this so they can keep their full-time employment. They're not stressed about money. And then in the evenings, they can do exactly what you're doing. Just build this side hustle because you can park it for 6 months if you get busy. That's a beautiful thing that people don't realize about websites. They're not passive, but they're semi-passive. And I think that's a really smart thing, is to build it out over time, these assets, and you can play with it. You can buy a few, renovate them at different rates, learn how it all works, and then move up the chain in terms of monetizing them as your skills grow.
Once again, just thinking about my son, because literally almost every day that's who we're talking to. Because it's easy for us to like give him money, but it's like, okay, he's now on his own. Like, I don't know if you know, but he came on the first leg of the trip with us. And then after a few months, it was kind of him, but then also us agreeing. He turned 18 on the first leg of the trip. And now he's kind of out on his own. So it reminds me of like a hawk, right? We're this hawk and we go like, kill the prey or like kind of damage it, or even a lion where it's like you kind of like, they damage the prey, but then they let their kids like, okay, go get it, right? So, but we're also trying to take away resources from him because he's depended on us his whole life. So it's been interesting, like him like going out on his own and trying to do his own thing, right? But first I was thinking, okay, he should start his own niche site. One of these 3 topics, dragon fruit, birds, or trampolining. But it's like, does he build his own or does he buy one? And I know there's a lot of nuance there probably, but let's talk through that a little bit. How do you know what's better to do?
I agree. There is a lot of nuance, but really, if I cut to the chase, when I'm advising my friends with their kids, and anyone in our community knows I'm really passionate about this, first step, it makes life so much easier. You could go and buy a site. That's the super exciting sounding bit, but honestly, learn how to build a site first. Because it teaches your son how this works, and it also gives him an idea of does he enjoy it. Now, you don't have to be a techie all your life. You outsource it later on. We hang around a bunch of friends who are all very successful online entrepreneurs, 7, 8 figures. And I can tell you, Dustin, there's not a single one of them that if I said, hey, can you just build me a site about birds in the next week? All of us know how to build a website. It's easy. Now, admittedly, we all got access to as many techies as we want in web devs. But seriously, if I said to them, no, you got to build it yourself. We're all going to sit at these laptops. By the end of the afternoon, I want us all to have websites. Or every single one of us knows how to SEO a website and build a website. And it's actually a lot of fun if you learn it. I like to say it like how we teach, but because our goal is to teach people how to build a site from scratch out of an idea in their head or emulating what they see working online. I personally think that is a life-changing digital skill for the future. It lets you do so much in life. Everything we've talked about today, if you know how to build a website, you can analyze websites in your lunch break like that I do as a hobby. If you don't know how to build a website, you are flying very blind in the world of online businesses, in my opinion. I wouldn't hand it over to a web dev straight away. I would at least learn the basics of how to build a good site and how basic SEO works. After that, then you outsource it. It's cheap to outsource website builds these days. If there's one bit of advice I can give anyone listening to this and your son, first big step, learn how to build a website. It's a no-brainer because you'll also guaranteed when it comes to buying a website, you'll do far better due diligence if you know what goes into building a website. You will know the minutiae of what to look at. Whereas people that go on the flipper, like they hear me on a podcast or whatever, and they go, cool, I'm just going to jump on the flipper and buy the first website that I see. They're flying blind because they don't know what's gone into it. And also, you can miss the best bargains. We have so many clients that go on the flipper and they find these little starter sites and they go, Matt, this person spent 6 months building this thing. They've posted 50 articles and I got it for like a couple of $1,000. I know how much work's gone into building that because building sites when you're a beginner takes a long time. It might take you a week or so. So all of a sudden you can look at a starter site and go, oh man, that thing's easily worth $1,000 just in the time that it took that person to build it.
Okay, real life example. I'm going to have my son listen to this, okay? Like this is going to be his step-by-step 101.
It's super exciting to get on a Flipper and buy a website, but he should just learn how to build a website first and just the basics of it. WordPress too.
His three main passions are birds, dragon fruit, and then freestyle trampolining is what they call it. Once a year, he'll go to this like yearly competition and like the freestyle trampoline, but it's a very tight-knit community. These kids are super passionate.
This is brilliant. So here's an interesting thing. And if your son is genuinely passionate about this and wants to go a bit beyond just setting up a standard passive website or semi-passive website, that's the sort of thing that I would tell him to go for the freestyle trampolining one, because he can go around and interview people. He can take real photos. He can become a voice in that niche. It's funny. The one thing I've learned about virtual businesses is the truly successful ones are the ones that do face-to-face stuff. It's kind of weird. You can be a bit of a mushroom in the dark at home in your Jimmy Jams, but if you can get out there and talk to other freestyle guys, you become a bit of a voice. I'd start a Facebook page with it or some social, obviously in that age group too. You need a social media presence, ideally a YouTube channel, but you want a blog so that then when you get a bit of a passionate following, you can start putting corporate sponsors on there. So like trampoline people or gyms or whatever, that's where you're going for it. But you just want to get a bit of a following. So the other reason that I'd get him to start in that particular niche is because chances are as a young guy, if he's into it, he's passionate about it. So I know as a coach, he's probably going to stick at that website for a bit of time. And also, as luck would have it, trampolining, we know you can make good money out of it as well as an affiliate. But if you've got a site that you're passionate about, even if you park it, at least you're going to just keep coming back to it over the 6 months. And that means you're going to learn how to do all this stuff. Doesn't matter if you don't make money, at least you're having fun building the site. So it's a fun site for him to build as well. That could be absolute gold. But you said he's interested in all three niches. But that one, I think if there's a community, these days communities are where it's at. Because of AI and the way the world is, as we all know, if there's a community there of nice people, I'm presuming in the trampolining space, they're probably really nice kids or young people. He can get around and do awesome interviews. You could build a really, really good website there.
Well, and he's connected on Instagram. I mean, he posts videos almost every day.
Oh, wow. He's halfway there, Justin.
On like Instagram, he's posting videos. He has friends. This summer, he'll go to like a competition.
So that's like the skateboarding niche. It's huge. Or golfing niche, any of those sorts of sports niches like that, or CrossFit and stuff, writing really good information on how to play the game better and stuff like that. And if he's into it, he doesn't have to even be the expert. He can go and video the top jumpers and show their technique. People will follow that. I would get it onto a blog though. See, the problem with young people these days, sorry, young people, if you're listening, you guys are all on social media and you think you can be successful because you see all these YouTube videos about becoming an influencer on social media. But us old guys, the ones that are paying money to advertise with you, we want to see a blog behind it. So I gave this advice. We've got full-time travel influencers and they have a massive Instagram following. This is here in Australia. Chris and Beck, you can see them on our website. They thought they were kicking big goals on Instagram. They're getting corporate sponsors. They're sending them around the world to different places. And as long as they take beautiful photos, a really nice young couple. And so they're really good representatives for corporates. And I said to them, guys, where's your website? Why don't you have a website? Remember, your big corporate guys like Canon and all these hotel chains, Instagram can be taken off you in an instant. It's not your asset. And Instagram or Facebook or even any of those, they're instant. The post is gone. I said to them, you show me your top ranking Instagram post, pretend I'm the head business development manager from Canon cameras and I want to sponsor you guys because you're a big influencer. Show me your number one post on Instagram and I'll advertise on there. And they couldn't do it because they'd posted it ages ago. They got like 1 million views. They couldn't actually find it. I said, okay, scenario 2, show me your best article on your blog. Can find it in minutes, seconds. I want to put my ad for my Canon cameras on that article. You can't do that on their 1 million view Instagram post. It's gone. So if you're young, think like us oldies do. We still want to see a blog, a web presence. It's super important. It gives you so much. That's your asset. Like what you're doing, Justin, you're building now. That's an asset. You got to think 10 years out. You own it. That's the virtual real estate that you own. Social media is awesome, but it can be taken off you in an instant. You don't own the asset. Whereas WordPress or blog, you can build it up, you can trade it, you can sell it for 6 and 7 figures down the track. You can't sell your Instagram account for that. And you can put advertisers on there. And most advertisers, they want to see a website. So I would recommend your son at the very least starts a site, just post exactly the same stuff that he's sticking on Instagram onto his website. Even that alone is cooking this website into Google.
So he can go back and grab all the stuff that he's posted and then just write more information about it. He has all the names for all the tricks. He does them all. He could show how he does them.
I would keep it really simple with your son, particularly for young people. We don't need to give them masses of detail around, but there's a lot more that we could do here where it would get really exciting, especially from my point of view. I'd be doing all the keyword research. I'd be looking what's the volume on all the keywords of how to do a backflip, who's making money out of that, how are they doing it. But just to get someone going, you just tell them, look, build a basic site and stick all that stuff that you've put on there. Have fun with it. You should actually be doing what's called keyword research, because that again goes hand in hand with how you build the site and how you do due diligence. And what it is, it allows us to analyze niches. So we use keyword tools like the free Google keyword tool or tools like SEMrush, Ahrefs. There's heaps of keyword tools out there. And they basically show us the volume of people searching for certain terms. So it's really handy when you're building a content site to know, well, how many people are looking up how to do a backflip? Now, just say only 5 people a month are looking at it. Well, it's probably not that great a niche. But I like going into low volume niches because they're not as competitive. There's probably, I'm guessing, how to do a backflip. That's a big thing these days. I reckon there'd be at least 50,000 people looking for that, or maybe 10,000, somewhere in that order. So you straight away know there's money you can make in that down the track somewhere. That's the other thing he can do. He can look at the topics that he's got. And basically the way you create a website is how you write a book. It's like chapters. You just have topic clusters around a big topic. So if it's trampolining, it might be stunts in trampolines, how to buy the best, what are the best trampoline stuff, and then fitness for trampolining. And so there's 3 big, we call them core purpose areas. And then under those, we'd have the subtopics of how to do stunts on a trampoline. And we do the keyword research around that. And so anyone that's interested, so now you're building an authority site. This takes time. You build it out over time, but you've got it organized so that anyone coming in, if I'm interested in the how to do stunts bit, I'll go straight to all those and I can find what I want very quickly. Or if I'm interested in just say I want to buy a trampoline, well, I'm only going to go to that. And Google loves that. In essence, that's how we also, by the way, renovate a website, because most sites are very random. People don't put them together very well. So that's what we do in our reno. We tidy up the websites as soon as we buy them. You can do that in the first week that you own a website.
So I keep hearing you mention WordPress. Do you recommend WordPress over some of these other website builders like Wix?
I don't want to sound controversial. I've never seen them rank very well and they don't sell very well. And WordPress is the industry benchmark. You can build 7, 8, and 9-figure websites. So that's in the hundreds of millions on WordPress.
Why don't these other sites rank very well?
Because again, you don't own the platform as such. They don't seem to work very well SEO-wise, and Google loves WordPress sites because they are the industry standard. They are really good for SEO purposes, and you own the asset. There's 2 parts to a website. There's domain name, and then there's a platform that you build under it. Now, those Wix and Foursquare and all those guys in the GoDaddy sites, Google knows that they come from GoDaddy or Wix or whatever, and I don't know, it just doesn't seem to like them. I look at, I don't know, hundreds of websites a week, thousands and tens of thousands. I've never really noticed Wix ranking that well. And we see a lot of problems with local businesses that have built a free Wix site and it's never ranked. I've never seen them rank. I don't know why they don't. They just don't. So I just say, just stick with the industry benchmark, which is WordPress. WordPress is a lot more flexible as the site grows. So the problem with those platforms like Wix, once you get sophisticated or a bit more experience, there's a lot of stuff you can't do, and then you got to pay for extra programming, which Google doesn't like, because Google can see the code in the site and it can slow it down. Whereas WordPress, you can build that out into a massive site. You can also use Joomla and other stuff, but WordPress is the easiest. It's click and drag. There's plugins. You can add in a course like an info product later on down the track. It's easy to put advertisers on there. If you're a big corporate advertiser, you would be pretty uncomfortable sticking your multi-million-dollar ad budget on a Wix site.
So I have a bit of a confession to make. Our main thing has always been podcasting. I'm not techie. So Tara built the website. I'm not throwing her under the bus at all. But she did a lot of research and she's like, yeah, it seems like this is easier and better. I don't even know if we're on Wix or whatever. But on the back of my mind, I'm always like, I feel like we should be on WordPress. So my question for you is, it's been, a year since we started Millionaire University. Do we transfer everything over?
Honestly, yes, I would. But I'm happy to have a chat to you and look at your site, actually. If it's on Wix, yes. And I hope no Wix people are listening to this, but I just haven't seen Wix rank. My whole life revolves around buying and selling websites. So you think of all the brokers I know, I've never heard of a broker selling a big 8-figure Wix site.
So you own the WordPress site, you don't own the Wix site. For some reason, in my mind, I feel like we own it, but...
You do own it, but it's tied in so much with Wix. To me, I guess I'm just so used to WordPress. You install a WordPress theme onto your hosting. And I think the other problem with Wix, it's hosted by Wix, which is a major problem because if they go bust, you lose it. Whereas WordPress, you always have the files. So no matter what happens, you can reload it. We move hosts all the time. That's what you do when you buy a website. Whereas if it's always hosted by the same company that builds the theme, that's a major problem. That's a big risk if you're building a big website down the track. You can build websites on the GoDaddy program, and they're actually really good. Liz she started saying, hey, Matt, for our clients, these GoDaddy sites, you can build pretty good websites here, like Wix, same sort of thing. But we realized, no, in all consciousness, we shouldn't be recommending this because we're teaching people to build assets for the future. That site at the end of the day is controlled by GoDaddy. If GoDaddy go out of business, unlikely, but we want freedom. We want separate websites that you can build into something big.
And to your point, if that is a concern for any potential buyers, then you could have an issue.
That's a major problem for any buyer that is buying a website through a broker. They're expecting WordPress. They're uncomfortable buying Wix or GoDaddy sites or Square or whatever. Now, there's an opportunity if you're hunting around for private deals and you find someone that's got a useless Wix site that's not ranking, but they've got good content on there, you can buy it and just transfer it into WordPress. You can sometimes pick it up for content value way less than the content value. So that can work well. We have a lot of clients that transfer local business sites are typically built on Wix. They never rank. So our guys rebuild them for their clients on WordPress and they get them ranking very quickly.
I mean, our main thing is our podcast. We've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars into growing our podcast listenership. But it's like at the same time, you want to be building up these assets simultaneously, right? Like maybe the podcast is what we lead with. That's where we're getting the traction. But why not get extra eyeballs on the website, as many as we can? It's kind of like a, but at the same time, hey, sometimes you do whatever it takes to get going and then you adjust and go from there.
I don't have anything to do with Wix, but I've just heard it through my clients. They've said, Matt, when you're trying to add in extra complexity to Wix sites, you very quickly work out, they're not free. It's like $500 for simple changes and things, or putting in more complex plugins and things. Now, I'm not an expert on that, but that's the other thing to be aware of. As your site grows, you might be up for a lot more than what you first thought was a cost-effective thing. Whereas WordPress, everything's cheap these days. You can buy plugins for like $50 that do full-on e-commerce stuff. They're amazing. Everything's built for WordPress. It's kind of like the Apple or the PC of websites.
Well, something we are seeing, and I don't know if this is Wix related or what, but we want to add now more email users. And my wife was telling me the cost at it. I'm like, what? That's ridiculous. The amount to add more people. So I'm thinking about myself as well, but I'll pretend like I'm talking about this one guy. No, if my son is going to do a trampoline website, you mentioned keyword research. There are lots of keyword research tools. I think Neil Patel has one that's pretty inexpensive as well. But do you recommend starting with keyword research or searching? So for example, for my son, the very first thing I probably would recommend him to do is go look up freestyle trampolines and see like what websites are ranking, what those look like, how they do it. I guess you could do either one. Do keyword research first, do that first. It doesn't really matter, right? You want to do both.
Yep. That is actually what we call keyword research as well. And then you do it hand in hand with looking at the numbers. And you can use a free tool. You just use Google Trends to see if it's trending. It doesn't have to be trending though. That market won't be trending, I don't think. It might have come up a bit over the years, but Google Trends is just Google it. If you're listening to this, it's a really cool tool. So it's good to see breakout searches and things like that on Google Trends. But yeah, keyword research is the big first step. And then you put together the website. You get a keyword bank So typically 500 to 1,000 words. That basically lets you plan out a website for the next 12 months. So then you can decide if you want to do it or not.
So then basically do a topic on each one of those things. I've heard some people say, if someone says the 10 coolest tricks on freestyle trampoline, like your goal is to do like 11. Your goal is to just make it a little better.
Yes, generally, but it's not always quite that simple. There's more factors. You just want to get going with it first. But yes, you can definitely do that. It's also going to come down to these personal relationships with, the top trampoliners. I'll put money on it. That's what makes it the most successful. It's the offline networking that you do. It doesn't matter what niche you're in. All the top guys, they'll all know each other and they will look out for each other all. There's an amazing niche called golf. It's still a multi-million-dollar niche. When we first started, we've owned 2 golf sites over the years, and I don't play. My wife plays. She's only started recently after we sold the site. That's the irony of it, damn it. I can't believe we sold the site. I still think what works is knowing people, taking real photos of people that are doing things and seeing real people. We're all passionate about golf and you want to get your swing right and everything like that. So if I'm on a website, I want to know, well, can I trust this? Is it AI generated? Is this real? If there's real photos and things, that's what elevates websites in this day and age in passion niches, is the human element. And then if you can build a community where they're discussing, so if you can put a forum with it or a Facebook group or something like that, that would be ideal. That's what you're really looking for when you know what you're doing. My client, Greg, who bought that guitar site, that's just what I call it, a standard affiliate guitar site recommending stuff on Amazon. But with someone like him, who's a real, genuine, super lovely guy, he's going to put behind his personality into it now. He's going to bring in some fellow guitarist friends that he has. He'll link in with his other community that he's got. All of a sudden, that totally transforms that website. That's the sort of stuff you want to be working towards.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Thanks again, Matt. That was incredible. You are the man. Once again, if you want to get in touch with Matt, you can find him at ebusinessinstitute.com or just look up Matt Raad online and his name will pop up all over the place. That's Matt, R-A-A-D. You guys are amazing. If you're enjoying this series, be sure to share with a friend. Please leave us a rating and review where you are listening now. And we will talk to you next time on the Millionaire University podcast. Until then, class dismissed.